Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jim Sullivan, and I am the Director of Social Enterprise here at the American Printing House for the Blind, and we are happy to present you guys today with Braille Trail Reader Getting Started. Leanne is joining us from Florida, and coming from the Windy City is Peter. And as we get started, Leanne, I think we need to provide everybody with a Getting Started code. Am I correct?
Our Getting Started code today for the live presentation only. So I'm going to pause the recording.
And again, the participants know where to send that code to, correct?
They do. That comes in an email and was in their email at the beginning of this session, and they'll also get a reminder after the session.
Great. And we are presenting everybody as they're coming in with some poll questions that we would like for them to respond to, correct?
We are, and here you go. Please respond and let us know a little bit about you.
Right, and as we move through the session, we're going to provide you with some additional poll questions to keep this going and as interactive as we possibly can. All right. So again, I was saying my name is Jim Sullivan. I'm the Director of Social Enterprise with the American Printing House for the Blind. Today's topic is going to be the Braille Trail Reader and getting started. So I'm just going to bring up another slide. And so we're going to do an introduction here in a moment. We're going to talk about objectives. And then we're going to get into using the Braille Trail Reader to create notes. We're going to get into the Braille Trail Reader being used as an iOS device. We'll go through some special announcements, and then we'll wrap up with sessions. So we aim to finish up at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. And joining us from Chicago, a member of the HumanWare team is Peter Tucic, who is the brand ambassador of Blindness products. You can reach Peter at peter.tucic@humanware.com, and there is a lovely photo of Peter here on the screen. For those of you who are not light dependent, like many of us, to the left of this photo has been cut as actually the better half of Peter's wife, Bridget. So in the future, we'll get Bridget and Peter into this photo. So Peter, I would love to ask you the question, when is the baseball season going to start, and will your Chicago White Sox actually beat my Cleveland Indians this year? But we can't do that. Would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Jim, and I'm thrilled to be here. I'm sure some of you may know who I am. My name is Peter Tucic, and I'm the brand ambassador of Blindness products for HumanWare. So I work with all of our Braille products, and of course the products like the Braille Trail Reader and others kind of in that Braille product portfolio. So I am in a snowy Chicago where we are sheltering in place, like pretty much many of you who are on here today. So glad to be here, and I'm very much looking forward to diving into some of this sort of working with the iOS devices and also working with the Braille Trail Reader LE. So thank you for having me, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the questions will be engaging, and that's what we're all about.
Excellent. All right. All right,
We have
so folks,
ended our polls, just so that you know.
All right.
Polls ended. All right, so as far as our learning objectives go, we hope at the conclusion of this hour that you will learn at least 3 ways the Braille Trail Reader can be used by students who read and write Braille. We are hopeful that you will know how to create, open, and navigate a note. We hope that you will learn how to pair the Braille Trail Reader with an iOS device. And finally, we hope that you'll have at least 6 helpful commands that you can use with the Braille Trail Reader and an iOS device, such as an iPhone or an iPad. And we did include a handout. There are going to be some screens that we're going to share with some of the commands that Peter is going to be using. And you will want to bear with us on some of this as we walk through and try to make this as interactive and as helpful as we can. All right, so what is the Braille Trail Reader? The Braille Trail Reader is a tool that you can use to take notes. There's a clock and a stopwatch that's built into it. It also has a Braille terminal function or Braille display function that allows you to be able to connect it with an iOS device or a computer. You're able to use it to synchronize notes between something like an iOS device and the device itself. In addition to that, you can transfer TXT and BRF files between a computer, specifically a PC, and the Braille Trail Reader. It has 20 hours of battery life, and it has 8 gigs of internal memory. And I'll just say, for our purposes today, we're really going to zero in on the notes, and we're going to zero in on using it as a refreshable Braille terminal with an iOS device. Peter and I hope to queue up another session down the road where we'll get into transferring materials such as TXT and Braille files between the two. In addition to that, we want to remind you that the device is compatible with Windows computers, and specifically JAWS and other screen readers, that it is compatible with Apple products, and specifically VoiceOver. Right, the Braille Trail Reader includes the actual device itself, a carrying case, a micro USB charging cable, quick start guide, command summary, and a decorative Braille bug sticker. Now, I think this would be a good time to ask another polling question, Leanne. So is it possible for you to queue up the question, at what age would you introduce a refreshable Braille device to your student? Excellent. I love when this technology works. All right, so as you guys are responding to that, I'm going to bring some photos onto the screen. And I just want everybody to be aware that Peter is going to go in and describe some of the Braille Trail to you. So I'm going to cruise through these photos. So again, for those of you who are not light dependent like myself, Peter's going to come in and describe in more detail the actual device. And so this photo is showing you a top view of the Braille Trail Reader with its Braille input keys, joystick, refreshable Braille cells, touch cursors, and spacebar. And then this next photo is a front view of it, showing you the 4 thumb keys on the front of the Braille Trail Reader. And this is a side view, the left side, which shows you the power and the micro USB slot. Now, I do not have a photo of the back side of the device, which where there's a switch. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
And I'm going to end the poll and let you know what they said. Ooh. And let everyone else know what they said. Ooh. So,
all right.
Fantastic.
We have found that 50% said 6 to 7 years old, 32% 8 to 9 years old, 12% 10 to 12 years old, and 6% 12 years or older.
I love that answer. That is wonderful. It's great to hear, because we talk about promoting the use of technology, you know, at an early age, much like we do with all of our sighted users, right? We have kiddos using technology at very young ages today. So it's great. That's great to hear that everyone's believing in introducing the products at younger ages. I know, as you know, as we go forward, that will just continue to be extremely important, especially when we're doing all of this remote learning, where refreshable Braille displays are very, very, very crucial. So I'm going to take over screen sharing and at this point, and I'm going to show everyone my screen, and I'm going to mute my speech as well. Let me do this. And you should be seeing my screen. Do you see that, Sully? I'm hoping.
Yeah, just
I see it.
Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
Just wanted,
no, you're fine. Just wanted to make sure. So at this point, I'll do a little bit of kind of an overview of the product. So I am using this document cam. If I do get somewhat out of focus, someone's got to yell at me and say, Peter, move it to the right, or so on. So we do have the standard sort of Braille keyboard. It's a very compact device, which is nice for our young, you know, Braille readers and writers. It's small. We do support one-handed mode and things. So your Braille keyboard is on the top. You will also have the 14-cell Braille display, and right above each Braille cell, there is a cursor router sort of sensor. These are not buttons, they are grooves, and they will give us the ability to route our cursor to a specific cell or to activate, and we'll look at this when we use the iPhone, to activate an actual item that we have in focus. across the front of the device, which you should be seeing, the furthest thumb key to the left, this is going to be our previous thumb key. This will move us, again, item by item. Think of them as your up and down arrows. Your previous and next thumb keys will move us in more of a linear way, up and down, item by item, or moving us through focusable elements, whereas the inner thumb keys, your inner left and inner right thumb keys, work to pan the Braille display. So by panning the Braille display, I'm meaning to continuously read, right? If we think about the device as having 14 cells, we know that we're only reading 14 cells at a time, and a typical line is going to contain more than 14 cells of text. So we're going to use that inner thumb key to scroll or to pan the Braille display. On the left edge of the device, and this will probably come in pretty close in terms of being, my document camera is a little lower, but we have two things going on here. We have our port, our charging ports, which is micro USB. That's how we both charge the device as well as connect the device to a computer to use, with a screen reader, such as JAWS, for instance. And then the other piece here is the power button, and that's going to be how we turn the device on and off, and also how we can, when we're controlling a Braille display, how we can switch between multiple devices should we need to. The Braille Trail Reader will support switching from, between 5 different Bluetooth devices. So we do use that power button both to turn that on as well as to switch and get into menus. The other side of this is on the very back, and I know this will be very hard to see. There is a switch on the very back. We're looking at the back edge. So the back facing edge of the device, along that back edge, toward the left side, about a ½ an inch from the left edge along that back side, you will have a switch. When that switches to the left, we are in application mode. So Jim had mentioned the stopwatch, the notes application, and the settings. Those would be found in the sort of when the switch is to the left. When the switch is to the right, we are then in Braille display mode. We can then connect this to an iPhone or an iPad or JAWS, right, or a screen reader such as NVDA. The switch would have to be to the right to put that in Braille display mode. When the switch is on the left, we're in that applications mode. And the other piece of this, and again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but between dots 1 and 4 on the device, we have a 5-way joystick, meaning I can move to the right, the left, up, down, or I can push in on the joystick itself to move through menus, as well as when I navigate within documents. So the physical sort of description there being, it's a simple device with a very clutter-free sort of interface, but we do have your kind of navigation buttons and your Braille input as well as your Braille display for that output. Sully, I'm going to float it back to you with the notes shortcuts.
Sounds good.
We want to do that, so I'm going to stop screen share, and you should be in control.
All right, so there was a question that came on too, and that was, does the device have any internal speech? And the answer to that question is no. As a matter of fact, it does not have internal speech. So hopefully right now you guys can see my screen. This is something that we've shared with you. This is a list of the notes shortcuts, right? So as you enter into the menu and you go to the notes section and move in, you're able to create a new note. We've shared this with you. This is also a part of the documentation. And if I were to ask a couple of questions, and again, we're not going to poll anybody right now, Leanne, but if I was to say, could you take a guess at how you jump to the beginning of the note or how you jump to the end of the note? For those of you, for instance, who are used to using note-taking devices, you might say, well, that would be space with 1, 2, 3 to get to the top, and space and 4, 5, 6 to get to the bottom. Right, so there is some intuitiveness to some of the commands that are in there. Note that you also have the ability to be able to save a note without exiting, to save and exit, and to exit without saving. So those options are in there. And then of course there are commands that Peter is going to go through that will allow you to be able to move to the previous line or next line, or to the previous character or next character. Again, I think a lot of times you will find those to be pretty intuitive. For instance, space with dot 1 to move to the next line, and space with dot 2 to move to excuse me, previous line, and space with dot two to move to the previous word, and space with dot three to move to the previous character. So again, just to recap, this information is available to you in the handout that we've provided, as well as the manual. And so with that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to kick it back over to you, Peter, for you to take folks into using the notes tool.
All right, and I am going to share my screen. And let me do that. All right. And I'm going to focus myself here. So now, again, I'm going to talk briefly about just how, some of those commands that Jim was mentioning. How do we create a new note, and how do we move around that note? Now, at any time, wherever we may be, if we want to get to the very sort of top level, or the main menu, if you will, of our device, we can always use space with dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, your space bar, dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will bring us, just if we're not sure where we are and we want to get to notes, we can certainly do that. So when I'm at that main menu, right, when I pressed dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, in order to move to the notes application, I can either use the joystick and move to the right, item by item by item, and then reading that output on my refreshable Braille display. Or I can use my thumb keys, right? My outermost thumb keys will move me up and down my menus. Or I can use first letter navigation. So there are multiple ways that we can actually move to that Notes app. The easiest way would be when I'm on that top level, right? I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and space. I can simply press the letter N and I will read Notes on my Braille display. And then I can press Enter. And again, Enter being the key that is your right pinky, the furthest right on your Braille keyboard. I could either press Enter, or I could use one of those cursor router sensors, right, to activate the notes option, or I could press in on my joystick. So again, multiple ways. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just multiple ways of moving around. Once you enter the notes application, you will have a couple of options here, and that's something we'll cover as we move forward. But there are options for synchronizing various types of accounts. But the first thing you will see is the word local. On your Braille display, you have the word local, meaning I want to locally store this note. This note is not going to be synchronized or taken and placed somewhere else, but it is local. If I press my next thumb key, I then might see something that says files, which would be files that have been moved to and from a computer, which Jim had talked about, us looking at how we can bring a webinar in to demonstrate that feature in terms of document sort of sharing, if you will, or transferring using the transfer application. But I want to select local because we're going to talk about taking a local note. So I can press Enter on local, or again, press in with my joystick, and I will then be brought into the notes list. If there are no notes, in this case there are none, and I don't think my webcam is a spy cam, so I'm sure you cannot read the Braille on my Braille display. I'm not that high definition, but the Braille right now says empty, and that means I have no notes currently in my local folder. If I want to create a new note, and this again is on the list of commands, I can press space with the letter N. So space with 1, 3, 4, 5 will place me into a new blank note. And at this point, I will have a cursor. So my cursor will run across dots 7 and 8. My cursor, again, will move across the bottom of my Braille display. As I type, my cursor will follow whatever it is that I am typing. So if I type hello in Braille, I am having a great day, right? Again, everything I'm typing, my cursor is following that information. And I'm going to be able to use some of these navigation commands to get sort of, to move around this note. Remember, it can be somewhat tricky when you're working with somebody because there is no visual output here. You may wonder where your student is, and that's something that this sort of practicing in a closed file like this can help, because you will be able to kind of use these navigation commands and keep it in a very closed way, right? You're just in this file or you're not kind of wandering out into space. So when I'm in the note, if I want to move my focus to the top of the note, I can press 1, 2, 3 or L with space. So 1, 2, 3 with space moves my focus to the very first character of my document. My cursor is then placed under the .6 because I capitalized the word hello. So my cursor would be under that, and I can read in Braille, hello, I am. And again, then I run out of room. So if I want to continuously read this in Braille, I would use this inner right thumb key to read the next 14 characters. So hello, I am, and I can use that next inner right thumb key and read having a great. Again, use my inner right thumb key and then the word day. So you can continuously read with those inner thumb keys. You can use dots 1, 2, 3 to go to the top of the file. The inverse of that, so space with dots 4, 5, 6, would go to the bottom of my file. And that's going to be, again, bring my focus, bring my cursor all the way down to that last character, or in this case, preceding the last character, which is a space in my document so I can further add content. One of the most challenging pieces to working with or teaching a refreshable Braille device to somebody who is relatively new is the concept of cursor placement. It can be very challenging. With this device, it's nice, we can illustrate that cursor placement very nicely, because if I'm at the top of my file, we can use those commands to move the cursor either word by word or line by line or character by character. So for instance, and again, this would tie into, I'm highly doubting you would actually see this happen with this webcam, but if I push .6 with space, I will move my cursor forward character by character. So right now it is under the H in hello. If I push .6 with space, it would now be under the E in hello. Or I push .6 with space again and it's under the first L in hello. So I can move that cursor and feel that cursor move across the bottom of my Braille display underneath each letter. And I could then start to work on the concept of editing or editing or correcting work as I go. The opposite of .6, being .3 with space, would move my cursor backward character by character. So again, being able to move that backward is important, and just also employing that it follows a pattern. Many times with Braille devices, we follow a pattern of if something moves us one way, the inverse or the opposite on the Braille cell is going to move us the other way. Thus, .6 goes forward with space, character by character. .3 with space goes backward. The same is true for word by word navigation. So if I'm on the beginning of this file and I want to move through it word by word, I can push .5 with space and my cursor will then move forward to the next word, right? And .2 with space would move my focus backward word by word. So right now, if my cursor is on hello and I hit .5 with space, my cursor is then moved to I. .5 with space again, am. .5 with space, having, right? So it's moving me forward word by word, and the opposite being .2 with space would move my focus backwards word by word. The line command will be the same, right? So you think of line by line. If I hit .4 with space, I would move to the next line. Now this file that I've typed only has one line of text because it's only a 7-ish word sentence. So .4 with space would move me down line by line through my document, and .1 with space would move me up line by line through that file. Again, very basic commands, but they allow us to start to drive home that concept of moving the cursor around, both with commands as well as then being able to employ the cursor router technique of routing my cursor. And with that, what's very important, you do receive a vibration when you route that cursor if you want to. So you can turn that on and off, and that will be very useful. So you can have that haptic sort of feedback in addition to having the the cursor appear. So it again, just another way to do that. When I'm done with a note, if I just want to save and exit, I can press space with the letter E as in exit, and that note will be saved. So if I press space with E, I will return to the local folder, which I entered inside that notes application on the Braille Trail Reader. And the title of my note is going to be the first line of my document. So again, if you have a sort of a longer note, the title of it is going to be your document, that top line. That's how you'll identify what the note is. At this point in time, you cannot rename notes, but they will be named with that first line of your document. You can move through your notes list by using the next or previous thumb key when you're in your list of notes. You can use first letter navigation as well. So being able to move through those notes can be important, especially if you're taking lots of notes and you want to refer to them. When I'm on a note in my notes list, so again, I can open it by pressing enter. So if I'm in my notes list and I use my previous or next thumb key, or I get to the note that I want to open in my local folder, pressing enter will take me right back into that note. So I can then use my editing commands, make any changes I need to, and press space with E, and that note will be updated and will be saved. If I want to delete a note, I can press space with the letter D, as in delete, when I'm focused on a note, right, in my notes list, and I will delete that note. So if I do that now, I'm going to delete that note, receive a prompt that we want to delete the note, and now once I say yes, I want to delete it, now I see the word empty again, because now I have no more notes in this area. So again, it is very basic in terms of what we're able to do with the notes side of things, but it's a great introductory tool or even a secondary tool when we start looking at utilizing refreshable Braille displays and how do we use refreshable Braille technology, right? I'm in a meeting, I'm in class, or I need to take down quick notes for some task and kind of refer to those later. And this is going to be a great way to do that, as well as introducing some of that cursor placement concept, the editing, and the and leading to sort of proofreading and getting comfortable with cursor manipulation, which can be very difficult to teach. So in that case, I'm going to throw it back to Jim in terms of the sort of notes side of things. He's going to walk us through some basic iOS, and then I will come back and we will look at how we use this to actually navigate an iPhone using the Braille, using the Braille Trail Reader.
Leanne, are you going to throw the questions at him, or am I going to throw the questions at him?
I can. I've got them ready. We have a few questions about what you just explained, and I wanted to make sure that we have those tackled before you move on. The Braille, which the device displays, can it do contracted and uncontracted? Is it using UEB and UEB technical?
He is muted. He's unmuted.
There you go.
Muted.
Hey, he's toggling between two different devices so that he's able to show you things.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we throw a poll question at
that sounds
Leanne.
really good.
Right.
While we're waiting for him.
So I'm going to do the how do you learn best. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. We would like to know from you.
Sorry, everybody. I cannot get my there's a huge delay on when I'm muting and unmuting. So
that's okay. Hang on a minute. They're answering a poll. While they're answering, were you able to hear the question about? Oh,
yes,
good.
Yes.
So what type of Braille?
So the device will support UEB, contracted and uncontracted Braille, as well as US. It will, you are able to change that. There is on-the-fly Braille translation. So when I take a note, I can take that in contracted Braille by all means, and that would be able to be synchronized or translated on the fly. So there is onboard Braille translation in either, either contracted or uncontracted.
Okay. And once you get to the notes in the menu, how do you start a note again?
So the new note command, it's in your command summary there, is space with the letter N, as in new. Space with the letter N. So once I entered that local area, I press space with N, and then I'm going to be able to create a new note.
And someone has indicated they struggle a little bit with recognizing if the device is off.
If the device is off, so if you feel spongy Braille cells, it's the only way I can describe it, right? When we think about any refreshable Braille displays, when they are fully off or when they're powered off, the Braille display goes somewhat spongy. There is a teeny bit of power providing some raising of the Braille cells, so they're not pulled down all the way. You will feel almost that they're spongy when you move your fingers across them. And that's always the best way to know if it is fully turned off. If you feel readable words, it is definitely not turned off. And if you feel that there are no sort of sponginess, you might just be in a totally blank area, you know, and your device might not be turned off. But if you feel a slight spongy sort of ever so slightly raised Braille cells, maybe about 10% of their normal, you know, raising, which is beyond, you know, millionths of millimeters or something, that would indicate sort of that Braille display is turned off.
Okay, I'm going to go two more and then let you go on, and then we'll capture more questions. The pairing with a smartphone for someone who might be deaf-blind using a GPS app, is that possible? And are we going through the steps of connecting with an iPhone, iPad?
Yes, we will certainly. That is our next tackling point here, would be pairing. How do we pair? And yes, you could use the device with any application that's going to be accessible on the iPhone. So if you're using it with Google Maps, for instance, you could certainly navigate that application with this Braille display. The other benefit is, because I'm glad that the deaf-blind piece came up, because this is using low energy Bluetooth to maintain the connection. One of the most common issues for a deaf-blind user is, you know, one of the problems is that the devices will come unpaired, and then there is a major hole in the ability to use the product, because it's very hard to reconnect the device. And what's nice with the Braille Trail Reader is that that connection is not lost, because we're using low energy Bluetooth, much like we would use, you know, to kind of use on the Apple Watch. So that connection is remaining connected. I've had mine paired for several months and never lost that connection. And you won't lose it as you have on some other sorts of Braille displays where it's been an issue.
Well, I thank you so much. Keep having those questions come in. I am gathering them, and on our next little break, we'll get to them. Over to you, Jim.
Well, I just am curious, for the results of the poll, is everybody able to tell those light dependent and non-light dependent? I mean, I think it's fascinating that about 50% of those of you who responded prefer live training in person when learning something, and 9% of you are weighing in on reading documents as being a way that you like to learn things. So just...
So with the, it depends on what system they're using to access the webinar. We have found that some people are not signing into true Zoom, and they do have difficulty with accessing the polls. But thank you so much.
Yeah. So that's just for those of you who are kind of wondering about that. So 13% of you said exploring on your own, 19 live webinars, and then 11% of you watching recordings. So just interesting stuff, and stuff that we were interested as we were kind of bringing material to you on how best to do that. So we're transitioning now to talking a little bit about pairing your Braille Trail Reader with an iOS device. So first thing that you need to make sure is that the toggle switch on the back of the device is to the right. That will enable the unit to get into Braille terminal mode. And Peter's going to go through that with us in a second. From there, you would jump onto your iPhone or your iPad, and from the home screen, go to Settings. Once you got into Settings, you would move to General and select General. You would move then from General to Accessibility, and in Accessibility you would select the Accessibility option, and then you would activate VoiceOver. And once VoiceOver was activated, you would move down and you would activate Braille. If your Bluetooth is not turned on, you will be prompted to do so. And then at that point, you would move to the very bottom of the accessibility list and find the Brailliant 14, and specifically the serial number of the Brailliant 14, i.e. the Braille Trail Reader. Once that's done, once you've selected the Brailliant 14, that pair will begin immediately. And so Peter's going to actually walk us through that at this time. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to mute my microphone. All right, Peter.
All right, can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
There we go. Okay, good. I'm getting a delay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take over sharing, and we're going to look at how we pair, and then I'm going to throw it over to you, Sully, for the commands, then we'll come back. What I will do is we're going to share everything here. Now, I'm going to warn everyone, I need to use speech here because I need to get I want everyone to hear the speech of what's going on. So you will hear my jaws momentarily, and I will hopefully be able to mute that very fast. All right, I'm going to mute my speech.
Alert from Barbara Space. Speech on demand.
And I am now going to share my iPhone screen into the meeting itself. So give me 1 second here, and what will happen is we're going to be able to come in and see what I'm doing, and I'll walk us through that sort of pairing process. The other piece of this that we'll notice when we come in to share what we saw, I'm just pairing now, so give me 1 second. Okay, we're good. And then I want to have Sully or Leanne, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Zoom Peter. Show media controls.
You're in good shape, brother.
Calendar.
All right.
Friday,
I love it.
April 17.
Okay.
14 new note.
Now we're going to make that be quiet. This pairing process will slightly differ if you're running a newer version of iOS. So if you're using iOS 13, you will notice that the accessibility portion has been moved out of general, and I'll get to that in 2 seconds. And that is a very recent change. So the steps are not incorrect. They are both going to be valid. If you're running iOS 12, 11, 12, you are going to, or 10 even, this process will be the same. If you're running iOS 13, you'll notice that accessibility is now just in your general settings area. So I'm going to show how we pair. Again, on my Braille Trail Reader, I do have the switch to the right on the back of the device that I showed, right on that back edge. Once that switch is on the back edge, is turned to the right, I'm in Braille display mode. And at this point, I'm going to come into settings.
App Store. Settings.
And
one new item.
I should also say this is the part of the program where everyone laughs at me because I have 200 something missed calls or something like that, and everyone always comments on my inability to. I never clear my logs, so everyone always says that they enjoy seeing how many missed calls or something I have, especially my wife, right? Really pleased with my inability to be on top of things here. But I'm going to press enter or double tap here on settings. And what will happen is I'm now going to be able to come over. If you're using a version previous to iOS 13, you would want to come to general. If you're using iOS 13,
sound, do not, screen, general,
swipe over
controls, display and accessibility. Button.
We don't have to go into general. So keep that in mind. But once we double tap on accessibility,
accessibility features help you customize your icon.
And we want to double tap on voiceover. So again, I can swipe over to it, or I can use one finger and explore by touch to find it.
Voiceover on.
We'll say voiceover on, or right, we can double tap here.
Voiceover on.
At this point, I'm going to want to double tap on Braille. Now you can tell Siri, if you don't want to go through these steps, you can tell Siri to open voiceover settings and then double tap on Braille. So keep that in mind.
Speaking
also,
rate.
If you're looking to speed it up.
Speaking rate, speech, verbosity, Braille.
So here's
button.
Braille. We're going to double tap.
Output.
And then
contracted.
we will see our Braille displays. Now I am using an APH Braille Trail Reader, but I was running some demo stuff, so it's going to show up here as a Brilliant 14 because it's built, on that as a derivative of the product. But what I'm going to do is find my Braille display. It will show your Braille display followed by the serial number of the unit. So again, you should see this here. If you're not seeing it, that would either indicate that your Braille display is not turned on, or that you need to back out and come back into the screen. Maybe Bluetooth is not on your phone, or you'll be prompted. So you should absolutely see your Braille display here. And what will happen is,
Brilliant
I see
BI14.
it here, I double tap it,
Brilliant BI14.
it will connect, and now I'm ready to rumble. You don't have to enter a sort of, any kind of pin code or number sequence or anything like that. Now, in a perfect world, and in a perfect world that was running up until about 25 minutes before the webinar started, I was able to simultaneously show you my hands on the Brilliant 14 and the iOS screen. So when I give commands, you're going to have to bear with me and imagine you're seeing me push those buttons because I cannot get my document camera as well as my Zoom meeting to float side by side the way I perfectly wanted it to. However, I'm going to talk about some basic commands here in terms of how we can navigate and look at this sort of how do we get around, how do we get started. We know, again, you do have to have a firm grasp of VoiceOver to know how to make this work, because VoiceOver does drive Braille support. If I want to move around, right, the most common sort of practice here is when I'm working with an iPhone, the first thing we teach is the swiping concept. If I swipe left,
In progress.
I will move
choose a
to
Braille
the previous
display.
item on screen.
Heading.
Now, every VoiceOver equivalent will have, will have a Braille equivalent. So every VoiceOver gesture will have a Braille equivalent. If I push .4 with space, I will emulate, .1 with space, I will emulate that swiping left. So .1 with the space bar
Key
moves
dead
me
on.
up
Alert display.
item
Word
by
wrap.
item, or
Turn
to the
pages when
right,
penning.
to the left,
On.
item by item. So I'm swiping left. The opposite of .1 is .4. Much like we talked about moving up and down a line in a note, right? .1 with space moves one way, .4 with space moves the other. So .4 with space would be the equivalent of swiping right.
Word wrap. Alert display duration.
And so on. And you'll notice here,
0.5s.
anything that is spoken will be shown on the refreshable Braille display. And that's very important because we're able to read, right? We can, if we're deafblind or we're doing something and we don't want to have speech output, we can turn speech off. There are lots and lots of gestures and many commands that we can learn, and everything we do is going to be shown on that Braille display. The other one that's most common, right? We don't want to just sit in this sort of settings piece all day. We want to get to the home screen. And that's going to be one of kind of the most used pieces of this, is how do we go to our home screen and then move around? And so to do that, I can always press H or 125 with my space bar.
Setting.
And I will come to my home screen. And you will now see that I'm focused on my home screen. So H with space, 125 with space, brings us to our home screen. And then we can still employ those same, right? .1 with space being a swipe left.
Apps, music, wallet, stocks, notes.
And if I press .4 with space, I would emulate that right swipe. I think I just lost my speech. Yes. Yeah, hold on. Let's see if we can
Speech
get it back.
off.
Oh, we might have gotten it back.
Speech on.
Okay.
Music.
So sometimes the AirPlay gets a little finicky. Now, in that, so we again, H with space brings us home, right? And we can navigate our home screen. When we're moving around, we might want to activate what is in focus. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to go back into
App Store.
Let's just say settings area
One
where
new
I
item.
was. We remember that to get in there, we double tap with one finger, right? But if we want to emulate that from the Braille display, there are a number of ways I can do that. I can either push down on my joystick, so not down as in toward me, I mean down like pushing in as though I'm pushing the button. I could use dots 3, 6 with space simultaneously, or I could use one of the cursor router keys. So I don't have to touch the screen, that's the whole point. I can use dots 3, 6 with space, and it will activate this.
Settings.
Right.
Heading.
And again, anything that's in focus, dots 3, 6 with space, or any of those cursor router sensors or cursor router sort of buttons will work to activate what is in focus. I'm gonna come back to my home screen, H with space.
Setting.
And we might want to move around. Again, a lot of times our home screens consist of several pages, right? We might have organized apps in different ways. I sure do. I have apps all over the place. Sometimes I go through and actually organize them, and sometimes I forget and things just get all left around. So we'll talk about changing pages. If I wanted to move to the very next page, I can press O or 135 with space. So when I push 135 with space,
Page 3 of 5.
Page 3 of
Shortcuts.
5. And I have my shortcuts. I have a blind folder here with lots of blindness specific applications, all sorts of sports and various folders. And again, I can move through them by pressing .4 with space.
Blind folder. Folder.
That's an unlabeled
TV
folder.
folder.
TV folder.
12 apps. Food folder.
Right?
19 apps.
And
one
new
new
of my
item.
recent webinars, I was ordering food off of Uber Eats as a demonstration. So I do, lots of that. But again, you can move forward page by page by pressing O or 135 with space and 246 with space to go the other way. So
Home.
that inverse
Page 2 of 5.
of
Calendar. Friday. April 17.
right? That
14 new notification.
stop that. The inverse of dots 135 being dots 246. So
How did
246
you
with
stop
space
that
would put me.
voice?
So I stopped it with a 2-finger double tap on screen, or you can press space with P.
Photos.
Right, space with P will do that as well. So if I'm
Calendar.
here,
Friday, April.
that will stop my speech. So it's the 2-finger single tap, and the Braille equivalent is 1, 2, 3, 4 with space. That is not on those commands, but that's a great question, Leanne. I did not put that in there. But again, this will let us float through and move. Now, if we want to move to specific, the first item on our screen, just like in our Notes app, if I use 1, 2, 3 with space,
Calendar.
I will come up to
Friday,
my
April 7.
calendar, which is the very top left icon on my screen here. If I press dots 4, 5, 6 with space,
Doc. Messages. 55 unread messages.
now you can hear how many messages I haven't responded to. In all fairness, though, this is a group text with I don't even know how many people on it that I just cannot keep up with. So there's like thousands of people saying things in there. So I definitely need to go in and look at some of those messages. But dot 4, 5, 6 with space will bring me to the very bottom right corner of my screen. So the last item on my screen. And that's, again, important when we're talking about moving around in navigation. I'll come back to the top.
Calendar. Friday, April 17th. 14 new notifications.
So we're going to talk, there are a couple more helpful commands here. We talked about moving through pages. We talked about kind of how we get to where we need to go in terms of kind of swiping, H with space being our home screen. There's a couple of simple ones. When we're actually using this to take notes, or we're in a text field, we oftentimes will want to press the enter key. How do we press enter or send a message, or how do we kind of get that to happen? And again, every time we press space with dot 8, that will work. So space with dot 8 being enter. Dot 8 being traditionally what we think of as enter. So space with your right pinky will activate that, or we can use space with E as in enter. So if I'm in a note and I'm typing information and I press space with E, I will move down to the next line. Or if I'm in a text message and I press space with E, it will send the message. It will send the message. So again, that's important because we want to utilize those sorts of shortcuts. The other piece here is we can, and I would encourage for everyone, keep this alive. I would encourage for everyone to explore your unit. And what I mean by that is when you're using VoiceOver or you are using a screen reader, all screen readers have some sort of help mode. And I think it's extremely important because we're talking about 12, 13 commands here when there are hundreds of commands that we can, in theory, can learn. To explore our units, we can go into keyboard help. If we press space with the letter K,
starting help. To stop help, perform a 4-finger double tap or 2-finger scrub, or press escape on the keyboard.
We heard a couple things there. It said starting help, and it told us to stop help, and it told us the gesture, right? We can do a 2-finger scrub, which is our back button, and I'll talk about the Braille equivalent. But the point here is K with space on the Braille display puts me into VoiceOver practice. This is keyboard help, also known as VoiceOver practice. What that means is every time I push something, what if I want to know what does space with dots 3, 4, 5 do? But I don't want to actually mess something up. I just want to explore. If I push space with dots 3, 4, 5, I will hear what it does without actually doing anything. So I'm going to push space with 3, 4, 5. And we're going to hear exactly what that does, although we should. But
dot 4, space bar, move to next item.
So let me do this again. And for some reason, it is not doing what I want it to do, but that will increase our volume. And I think because I am airplaying, that is not going to work. And I'm actually positive that's why this command is not going through to my device, because I'm not actually using the external speaker. So I'm not able to adjust the volume right now because I'm airplaying to my computer into the Zoom meeting. But let's say I press dots, I don't know, dots E with space, as we talked about before. What we'll get,
dot 4, space bar, move to next item.
It won't let me do these because I'm airplaying, which is a bummer, but it would tell me that do my enter key. Now we'll try one that I do know will work. Let's try dots 3, 6 with space.
Dot 3, dot 6, space bar, activate.
So we'll say activate, right? Meaning activate what's in focus. The same thing is true here with the touch screen. If I do a 1-finger swipe right,
One finger swipe right. Move to next item.
It's going to tell me what that does. So it's very important. This is a great way to practice, whether you're learning as a user or whether you are a teacher, just giving your students a way to practice without wandering all over the place and getting into trouble in terms of getting stuck. This can be a very useful way. When we're done, we can do a 2-finger scrub, or on your list of commands, the command to exit, or the back button, is going to be spaced with the letter B. That will always activate a back button if one is present. So if I hit space with B,
escape, stopping help,
it will say escape, because again, that activates the escape button where present. So again, a very, very brief sort of overview here as to some very simple basic commands on getting started with navigation. There are lots and lots of moving parts when you start working with this. I would strongly encourage you to work with keyboard help to build your confidence with using VoiceOver. It's very hard to employ a Braille display with a screen reader if you don't have a good grasp of how to use the screen reader, because that is what will drive the Braille support. With that, I'm going to toss it over to you, Sully. I know you have some slides there in the document as well, and I'm going to throw it over to you, and I'm going to mute myself.
I don't know that you necessarily want to mute yourself.
Oh yeah, very true.
You are the star, but I think what we'd like to do is shoot a poll question off, because we've got about 8 minutes left. So Leanne, can we queue up the question? What is the ideal number of Braille cells on a refreshable Braille device for your students? So we'll let those responses start to flow in, and I know there are some questions that we want to address. And folks, what I have up on the screen, I think, showing right now are some of the commands that we shared with you in the handout that Peter has gone through. Peter, I do know one of the questions that came in was, what version of iOS do you need to be running in order to be able to pair your Braille Trail Reader with an iPhone, iPad, or iPod?
In April of 2020.
So today, yeah, as of today, anything that is supported is going to work. If you're running an old version of iOS, your devices will not work. They're not going to be able to work anyway with some changes Apple made last year. So anything after iOS 8 will work, but realistically it's going to be, if you're able to run VoiceOver today and your device is connected and sort of supported by the Play Store, you are going to be able to pair that device, because it's supported from 8 on up for sure, and anything along those lines will work.
All right, so again, we'll just for those of you who are trying to maybe get in those poll questions, so 50% of you said that 32 Braille cells is the preferred number of Braille cells, 21% saying 40, and 20% saying 20, and then 12% saying 14. So this is a pretty interesting little chunk of information. So we're going to get into some of the questions, just do a little bit of wrap up, take some questions, and then ask another poll question. So for those of you who are interested in purchasing the Braille Trail Reader, we do encourage you to visit the APH website, www.aph.org, or you can reach out at 800-223-1839. The Braille Trail Reader is $995, and it is available with quota funds or without. So if you do want to acquire this through your local education agency, don't necessarily need and or want to use quota funds. There's nothing stopping you from ordering it directly for your student or for yourself, for that matter. As far as special announcements, I'm going to have Peter jump in here. HumanWare is doing live webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's Braille, right, Peter? And then on Wednesdays, doing low vision.
HumanWare Live, we're doing HumanWare Live. We've already done about 10 Braille webinars, which is amazing. We're just pumping lots of content out. We're working with the Braille products. I did do some things with Braille displays and screen readers as well. You can find more information on our website, www.humanware.com. And there is under the support link, there's a direct access there to the HumanWare Live archive, as well as if you want to receive and kind of find out what's upcoming. Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, and then Wednesdays is low vision. So working with the low vision products. And then we've launched an application called HW Buddy. And the HumanWare Buddy, that application is going to be available in iOS and Android, and will be a resource for all of our products, not just, the traditional sort of Braille note takers, Braille Note Touch Plus and things, but everything, low vision, handheld magnification, Braille displays, and so on. So that HW Buddy application is available, and we want it to be a resource in terms of how-to guides, in terms of videos, and lots of content that can help you tremendously in your pocket, as opposed to having to wander around a website or having to print, paper manuals and things. And then just a quick note, I mean, we are fully open. Obviously, these are challenging times for many of us, and hopefully everyone is safe and is doing well. And we are definitely open and obviously for support, for repair, for service. We're not shut down. We don't get shut down, as I like to say, right? I don't get shut down for sure, but we're absolutely here, and we want to be able to support everyone in these times, especially in terms of remotely accessing content and so on. So we're really excited to be able to do that, and I think things like this as well. The joint webinars are fantastic, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. And HumanWare values it a lot. So thank you very much to everybody at APH, especially you, Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. So, and next week, is it next week or the week after? Week after, Peter will be joining up with Greg Stilson to talk about the Mantis and Chameleon. I got up this morning and threw on my APH Mantis t-shirt. My wife looked at me and said, "What in the world is that on the front of your shirt?"
Now I need one.
Right, exactly. So we should talk about Leah and maybe trying to get one and give away to some of the people that are joining. But I know there are lots of questions, so let's do this. And you always let teachers go early. Last poll question is, do you prefer using QWERTY input devices or Braille input devices with your kiddos? Okay. And then, I don't know, how do we want to do this, Leanne, in terms of answering some of these questions? Do we want to say that we're going to hang around? Because you do need to give that code before the time.
I do. Hold on. Let's let this one come through real fast and answer the QWERTY question so that they can kind of see what the field has been saying, because there are options between QWERTY input and
it's a beautiful
Braille
day.
key input.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. We're at a good chunk of you that have found the poll. I thank you for answering, and I'm going to end it and share those results and let you see 32% QWERTY keyboard and 68% the Braille input. So that was interesting. And we do have one more really fast. We have one more poll, which was devices, and we were kind of talking about this, about the different devices. What devices do you see your student using with a refreshable Braille display? We talked pretty specifically about iOS devices right now, but we know there are multiple devices out there for students to use. So it is good for us to know so we can provide you and your students support. And so this gives us feedback. This one is a multiple option, so you can select more than one if I set the poll up correctly, so that we can actually see the multiple devices that you might be using with your students.
Yeah, and Peter, if we
or you as a user, that could be part of it as well.
Peter, we're definitely going to go over, but we're definitely worth it. I mean,
I have nowhere to be but helping others, you know.
Okay,
are you going to go through
most of those, so I'm going to share those results. iPhone, 52%, iPad, 78%, Android, 12%, Chromebook, 36%, a PC, 38%, a Mac, 17%, and then other 3%. It's hard to think of all the different devices that we have with our students and using with them, but thank you. That gives us an idea where we can make sure we're providing support as we continue to move through these times. We thank you very much. We did have quite a few other questions that came in. We had about storage. Is there a folder organization for these files? And we were specifically talking about notes. Is there a folder system that they're allowed to assign?
There is not. There's no folder system at this point. So the notes will be put in order just as when they're created. They're going to be in sort of a alphabetical or chronological order. I need to validate which is the case at this point, but no, you're going to use first letter navigation to move to your notes. There's no folder structure.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second.
Sure.
All right, so what we're going to do for those people who need to drop off, they can do that. We're going to field these questions. Shelly Mack, I do want you to weigh in and let Peter know how many times you think the Cleveland Indians are going to beat the Chicago White Sox this year. So throw that up in the chat.
Enough. This is contingent on many things. You might say one time because they might only play once. So
yes. All right, Leanne, take the questions away.
So,
every time.
How do you set the Braille code? Is there like a learn mode to change the code that the students are reading?
It's a great question. So when you are, actually, I'm going to mute my speech, otherwise I'm going to constantly be hearing those. Okay, so when you're on that top level, when you hit that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with space, when you come up to settings, to the main menu there, you can press the letter S and go into settings. When you go into settings, you will have the option of adjusting your Braille codes there. So you're going to be able, there's several settings there, but you will have one that will ask for your literary Braille, sort of your literary Braille code, as well as your default Braille code. And so you would set your literary Braille code to English UEB or English US or wherever it's going to be, and then you would set your literary, your default Braille code to literary. So you do that within the settings menu. And that's very simple to get to by going to that sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with space, pressing S until you get to settings, coming into settings, and then finding your literary Braille option.
One person did want to review as to when they hit space N to go to a file, then what do they do? What's that next step?
Space with N brings you into a new note. Then you just start typing.
Then you just start
typing.
Okay,
Space with N brings you to a brand new note.
Okay. And then the device, if the device isn't pairing, they wanted to make sure it wasn't because they needed a full charge or a discoverable mode.
No, I would think if it is not pairing that you either your switch is not to the right on the back of your device, so you're not in Braille display mode, or you could have airplane mode turned on your phone or your iPad, and that would prevent you from seeing any Bluetooth devices that are around.
Okay. There was a question about the refreshable Braille 18. Is that being phased out?
Well, that would be a question for
that was well, I mean, I think the support will still be there, but I don't think that's a solution that's been sold for a year or
quite
two.
Some time. Yeah.
Okay. What is there an internal GPS system if you misplaced a device?
There is not. There is no internal GPS. No.
Okay. We did have a question about what age would a Braille device be introduced to a child? And as a professional teacher, the visually impaired here, I would say you should be using information about your students, and when other students are being exposed to a printed word on a screen is when you should be introducing Braille under the fingers for what is introduced on a screen. So I hate to say it, but I know you and I are watching very young children seeing a screen. So access. I would not put an age limit on that.
You are spot on, and I could not agree with you more. And we're seeing it tremendously being very important today with the remote learning and how many kids can and cannot participate because of their ability to kind of have they been introduced and are they aware of how to utilize it.
Yes. And then we did have a few, because we just kind of briefly talked about Chameleon and Mantis, which is a training that we are going to be offering coming up, and if they will be available on quota. And the answer is yes, those will be available on quota. Hooray!
Yes.
We will have quota devices. So that is a great news, and please join us, but we will be sending these recordings to get processed, and then we'll be posting on the APH YouTube page. You always are welcome to email me at either outreach@aph.org or grillot@aph.org, and I will send you the link when it is available. I'm hoping within the next 7 to 10 days we'll have recordings up and rolling, just as we do for our Excel Academy.
Wonderful.